Okay, welcome everybody to week 6. It's nice to see you all. This week we're really going to be focusing on social interactions and are interested in hearing how your home practice went across the week. But before we get into that, we're thinking maybe we can go around and everybody can just quickly fill us in on how your week was.
Well, I'll start.
Thank you, Charlie.
I'm actually really upset right now.
Okay.
There was this guy at my church group that I liked, and whatever, I asked him out. We were supposed to meet at the Eaton Center, and he totally stood me up. I called him like a bunch of times. He didn't answer his phone, and whatever, I was really pissed. And when I finally did get to speak to him, I just ended up yelling at him and hanging up on him. So I'm like just really upset right now about that whole situation.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll break that down together as a group. We'll check in, hear from everybody, and then we'll come back. So thank you for sharing that, Charlie, and then we'll be able to really look at it as a group. How is everybody else doing?
I had a good week.
Okay, thanks, Charlie.
I decided to ask my husband if I could join him and his friends for dinner. And he was really surprised because I never do that. And I just felt like it was a really great step for me.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
I had a really good week too. My home care, I had said I was going to get in touch with some of my high school buddies, and I actually met up with a guy who was always on my side, and we had a really good time. So.
Nice.
I had an okay week. Just we talked about last week how I had to start a conversation with my mom and dad about how I just want to, just be, share to them that my passion is to become a really good dessert chef and a really good ice cream chef. And it just didn't go well. It just completely not supportive. I really thought I got my point across. No.
Okay. Again, we'll break this down. I mean, I'm hearing some people have had really great weeks, which is wonderful, and we'll sort of understand that a little bit better. And then for those of you who have had challenging weeks, we'll take a step back and look at that you actually did these things as a first step and then problem solve a little bit around where to go from there. But let's hear from our other members.
I had a good week. I asked this person from the band to have coffee, and they said yes.
Nice. Thank you.
It was hard.
What's that?
It was hard to do, but
I can imagine.
Yeah. So that was, yeah.
So you must feel happy and successful with how it went down.
I do.
Okay. So again, we'll come back to that. Thank you.
Well, I was supposed to get a job outside of that, like the family, friends, and whatever. And so that was hard. But I actually did find through a temp agency, basically selling just like address. They're the lights that go outside of. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was hard. I was supposed to go to different houses, and I did it. I didn't sell any, but I guess I was happy that I could even just knock on the door, because that was sort of the hardest part. But I did it.
Good for you.
I think it's great the way you're identifying that success meant for you being able to knock on the doors. The selling was sort of secondary.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been great. I don't know, sure. Maybe they won't keep me, but I don't think that they knew that was actually the hardest part for me. So
yeah, so that's amazing.
Thanks.
Wow.
I think for everyone, there's that commonality that you all tried what you said you were going to try, right? So well done.
Yeah.
right? That's
huge.
As you identified, Sam, the first step is really the hardest piece. So you've all been able to do that. So maybe let's take a second, a couple of minutes for each person, and let's break it down really into those initial steps, and talk a little bit about your feelings for starting that, and then we'll work through them. So is there somebody that wants to start off?
I'll start.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. So what was the first step for you?
Well, I guess sort of, after we talked about, having homework, I think for me that's helpful to be like, okay, I have a plan. Mm-hmm. I know that my husband and his fishing buddies meet up every Thursday night, and so I knew that was coming, and he always invites me to have dinner with them, and he knows I always say no, but he asked me anyway. And this time I thought, wouldn't it be like kind of a nice surprise for him if I said yes? So it was just knowing that was coming, knowing it was my homework, deciding to say yes instead of no.
Okay, so I think that's excellent. I also think there's something in between. So you decided it as your homework, mm-hmm. and you broke it down. What were some of so in saying yes, what did that involve for you?
Well, like just actually saying it, which was harder than I thought.
Okay.
Because I didn't really want to.
Okay.
Like, I would really rather just, stay in my room, read my book.
Which is what you've shared as something that's comfortable for you. Mm-hmm. So then taking that step to something that isn't comfortable for you, did other people have that experience this week around that first step?
I had to talk to myself a lot.
Okay, so great. That sort of cognitive processing, that self-talk.
Jeff and I went into a really busy coffee shop, but I just kind of focused on our conversation, and I was okay.
Okay.
I offered to make my parents dinner.
Okay.
So I went to their place, and, I did some self-talk as well just to calm myself down. Mm. And I actually, entered, into the talk, very peacefully. I felt good. I felt confident with what I was going to say and how it's going to be articulated and everything. But yeah,
But let's stop there just for a second, because I think that's no small step, right? To be able to look at maybe some of the things you've worked through, and we've all, heard some of the things that you shared, to be able to go in and feel confident is really an important first step, right? And so that's something, are you able to reflect on that a little bit?
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, you're actually right. I think that's the first time I've ever felt kind of calm to start to speak to my parents. So I think, yeah, you're actually right. It's, it is a step.
So can I ask you, what do you think the most important things you did in advance of this that helped you achieve that kind of calm going into this with your parents?
We do the breathing exercise, so that really, really helps me.
Yeah. You also talked about planning in advance.
Yeah, and talking to myself.
So
I wrote it down, I wrote a list of what I wanted to say to them, point by point, and then after I just practiced it with myself.
So that preparation sounds like it was really, really helpful. And I noticed that that's some of the things that other members in the group also were doing leading up to this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's some real commonalities around planning and self-talk. And we haven't touched much, but you talked about breathing was one of the strategies as well that helped you feel calm going into this.
It just helps me because, my heart just kind of, so it just calms me down.
So the breathing was really helpful for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else? Sorry, I was...
No, it's just, I planned to talk myself through, and even I decided to take, a walk from the bus stop to their house rather than, being picked up. I just want to walk to their place first. So that was another step that I just kind of thought of like last minute when I was like, you know what, I'm not going to call them to pick me up. I'm just going to take my time. Yeah.
So you could really sort of take your time, have a peaceful approach into the conversation. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about others who haven't shared that first step for us? What made that possible for you?
Well, talking through, but also trying to see it happen. Like going there and what would happen. But then also I was just like, but what if this happens and it doesn't go right? So it kind of worked and it kind of didn't work. And then I started thinking all kinds of things. If I keep going to coffee shops, you know, I have to worry about weight, you know, and there's money and so it just, so then I had to try and take it back. It's hard.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have others experienced that with the thoughts where you're sort of talking yourself through and you think you're doing okay and then all sorts of other thoughts keep popping in?
Always.
Some nodded. You want to add to that?
Well, it's just, I mean, it wasn't so bad with what I did this week because, you know, it's a job, right? But when I got home, I was like, I went back into, because I'm living by myself right now, so I just went home and I was just, you know, like, I don't have friends and I'm okay being alone, but maybe I'm not okay being alone. And it was just I just started telling myself that, you know, that I'll never meet anyone, and just that all that the stuff that I always do that I'm, you know. So with the stuff, getting the job was good, but I still felt like the stuff that, like my normal everyday stuff, was still the same.
So it's interesting because I think one of the important things about all this is everybody here has had a certain level of success. They were able to do things, to start the thing that they wanted to do, and that went better or worse for many of you. But even for people who initially had talked about it going really well, it's really important to also recognize that part of it, when it goes well, is this other stuff that comes up and the other challenges that are also part of it. But one of the things that I'm noticing, and I don't think that you guys would have been able to do this quite so well even 3 sessions ago, is the way that you're recognizing some of the thoughts that come into your head and how you're managing those, because you notice them and you notice them for what they are, and you've been recognizing them and learning how to cope with them. So this is pretty impressive. I think that's really good. But again, important to realize that there are still challenges that you'll face, and that doesn't mean that things have gone not well. It's part of the process, probably.
So I noticed people are having different reactions to Jane's comment. I saw some people nodding, and some people were shaking their head no and looking down. Does anybody want to comment on that?
I did. I'm really happy where I got to, but I still. So I sent Jeff a message on Facebook, and I didn't really expect a response from any of the people I sent messages to, but then when he did, I didn't know what to say back, and I did that thing where I like type out a response and then delete it, and then type out a response and then delete it, and I did that a lot of times before I just sent it, and that was hard, but I'm really glad that I did it, that I fought the urge to just never send it.
So when Jane was talking about that idea of noticing a change, noticing that there's a difference in how you would have responded to something 3 weeks ago, how does that, I mean, you've engaged in some of those behaviors, but then you worked through it.
Yeah, I never would have sent the message 3 weeks ago.
So that's a huge success,
huge.
right? But I want to hear maybe from some of the people we haven't heard from.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm back to square one in a way, just because of the way I reacted. to
Okay.
being stood up because like I really lost it, and like I'm really upset about it, and I just ended up yelling at him and hanging up on him. So I feel like that, like I just was reacting to like how I was feeling, and I wasn't calm at all. I was just yelling and angry, and like even though I know that's not how I should react, that's how I reacted. So I feel bad about even how I reacted to being stood up, even though he stood me up. And so like I didn't even listen to him. I was just too angry because I waited for an hour in the mall, and I kept trying to tell myself, I made up all these excuses like he's delayed for some reason. There's a subway delay, or he'll come, or I don't know. And then like when he didn't show, I just got so upset, and I was trying to be calm, and I was trying to breathe, and I was trying to do all these things, and I just felt like in the end I couldn't do those things.
Okay, so are you okay if as a group, maybe we help break that down and come up with some ideas people can share about maybe what it worked, and then maybe we can try some other ones, do a redo here?
Okay.
Okay, so when you said you tried to calm down, what were the things? You mentioned breathing?
Yeah, I tried to take a deep breath. And while I was waiting, I was trying to breathe because I get anxiety. So I noticed my heart was racing. So I was trying to take deep breaths as I was waiting, which was really hard, but I was doing it. And then...
Okay, so let's stop it there.
Okay.
Have people had experiences... Sorry, who is using deep breathing as one of their coping strategies? Okay, so enough of us are. If that doesn't work, are there other things that have been helpful?
I mean, like, I'm not proud of it, but marijuana usage.
Okay.
I felt like removing myself, if I can, like when we were at the coffee shop, it got really noisy, and I just asked if we could go outside, and that helped because being outside there was less noise.
Okay. So, hindsight, right? Hindsight's the easy part, but it helps us to be able to identify how we want to do things differently and practice things differently. So, are there things, is there something that you think could additionally be helpful if you're feeling that heart racing?
Well, just actually hearing Leslie speak right now, I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking that when I called him, maybe I should have gone for a walk or something before I called him.
Okay.
Because I was really angry.
Okay.
And I think if I had just waited a little bit and like gone outside or something, maybe I would have spoken differently.
Okay.
And I didn't actually think of that until you just said to go outside.
Okay, so that's another potential option for you.
Yeah.
In the moment, do you think that would work?
I didn't have that idea in my head at the time.
Yeah.
So maybe if I had that idea, or I don't know, maybe if I thought of it, maybe it would have worked for me to not react the way that I reacted.
Okay, so that's one possible idea for you. Let's hear from the group. Are there other thoughts that might be helpful for Charlie? So we've got the breathing didn't work, but the walking away, going for a walk might be helpful. Are there other strategies people used? We've heard marijuana, not always an option for a variety of different reasons. And what about other ideas?
Well, I really love music, and music saved my life, so I feel doing something I really like.
Great, thank you.
So music's one good option for you specifically, but you're also saying that anything that people really like and are comfortable with, then that helps them is similar to the music piece.
I guess I have, I think, I don't know if it's a question or if it's but I'd be angry too, right? I don't think it's wrong to feel angry, because I would be too, right? So I think maybe now it's not about beating yourself up either. I don't know, because I think it's pretty normal to be upset by that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is that okay? Because I feel like sometimes it's not okay to feel like we're feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, if you tell yourself that you reacted really badly, then it's like, what I'll talk about what I do. Like, for me, I'll beat myself up like I shouldn't feel this way. Right? But that's pretty, like, someone didn't show up, right? That's, like, you're not supposed to like that, are you? Right?
I think
Yeah,
you
I
need to
hated it. Like I felt such a loser waiting there.
See, like, I guess that's what I mean. Like, I don't know how to do this stuff, but, like, it's not about you. You're not the loser.
So Charlie, when you hear Sam saying that, what's your response? How are you feeling?
I mean, I like that she said that she would be upset too because I'm upset.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me feel like someone else understands like how I feel.
I feel that way too. I felt so sad when you were saying that.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the thing is that this guy, we were getting along at my church like really well. And that's why I even felt comfortable like suggesting that we like hang out at the Eden Center. And the fact that he said yes, I was like, oh, so he must feel the same way too. Like it was all looking really good. And like for me, it's like a big thing to like even ask somebody out because I've never done that before. Mm-hmm. And then when he didn't show up, I just felt like all these bad thoughts came into my head. And then I got really angry. And so, yeah, I think that's why I reacted the way that I reacted. And yeah, anyways, that's just how I feel right now.
That's hard.
And I'm going to have to see him at some point. And that's just going to be horrible.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's like I just want to say something about your situation. Like, always acknowledge how you feel, because whenever I feel angry, I always say you know what, I'm angry and it's okay. It's okay to be angry. I don't care if I'm crying. I don't care if I'm like, I'll go into another room and I'll just acknowledge it for myself. And then after I'll say, it's all right. It's just all right. You know, like, because I know for myself, whenever I repress my feelings, whenever I say like, no, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't be like that, I should be much more stronger, I should be this and this, I actually in fact feel weaker. And it just doesn't help me. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So Charlie, hearing that, I can sort of see two elements of what you shared with us. The feeling part, which we have heard from the group quite strongly, is okay. Like, if you're angry about that, that is okay. But then we hear you saying the other part where you're not feeling comfortable. I'm not sure the actual feeling word you used, but with how then you responded. Mm-hmm. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah.
Okay, so put the feeling word in there for me.
I mean, I don't know. I think I regret like blowing up at him on the phone.
Okay, so that is something. I don't know. Are you comfortable if we use that in a role play?
Yeah, sure.
Are you okay being part of that? I mean, you guys remember with the role plays, we'll set it up as a group. You can use the group to problem solve how you want to be addressing it, but then you would role play.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So, is there someone in the group you're really feeling comfortable that you can use to try this out?
If Leslie doesn't mind. Maybe Leslie.
Okay, Leslie, you're all right with that? Okay, so let's take then this scenario again.
Okay.
So lead us up to it.
So like which part? Like before I called him?
Yeah, let's go through the situation.
Okay.
Sort of how you're feeling, the stuff you're like that you are happy with yourself.
Okay.
Right? You're feeling successful on. We're going to replay that.
Okay. So I was happy that I suggested that we hang out together.
Okay.
And that he said yes.
Okay.
So, and because it was a big thing for me to even ask him out.
Absolutely. So we've heard other people sharing some of their planning, some of the things they did ahead of time. What were some of the things you would want to repeat in that initial point where you made that decision to ask them?
I guess I would want to repeat. I was trying to pump myself up in my head. Like, I was trying to give myself, like, affirmations. Like, just go for it. Like, just do it. Like, silly things like that. That's what I was repeating before I actually asked him out. So I think that helped me.
Okay, so should we do a 2-minute role play? So you're asking him out again, and if you're okay with it, just verbalizing some of those thoughts you were having that were really helpful.
Okay. Okay, Charlie, you can do this. Just do it. It's okay if he says no. Just try. So Mike, if you have time this weekend, I thought maybe we could go hang out at the Eden Center if you want.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay, so let's pause. And what feedback do you have for Charlie around how she did there?
Really well.
Great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
She did.
Okay, so that was part 1 of your situation. Now let's fast forward to part 2.
Okay.
So you have to walk us through where you are.
Okay, so I guess I'm in the Eden Center by the fountain, and we were supposed to meet at 1 o'clock, and it was 1 o'clock, and he wasn't there. So I was just like, okay, there's a subway delay. He could just be running late. It's just wait 5 more minutes before you think he's not coming, because then I started to doubt myself. And that basically got worse and worse and worse. I waited for an hour. And then I just was getting really angry.
Okay, so what was your body response? I know you shared this, but we're going to set it up to happen again.
Okay, I just started to, my breathing got a bit, faster. I could feel my heart racing. My hands were getting sweaty, and I was, thinking negative thoughts as time went on.
Okay. All right, and then you did the deep breathing.
I tried to do deep breathing, but I just feel like I was getting really emotional, and then after a while I forgot about it.
Okay, so the deep breathing, we've already identified one other possible thing that might work from Leslie, that idea of walking away, right? Going for a walk.
Yeah.
So let's retry that. You ready to redo it?
Okay.
Do you have enough? Group, any thoughts? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. I'll just try it and see what happens.
Try. Okay.
So what, should I...
Okay, so
how do I just start with what my mind was thinking at the time?
It's 1 o'clock. We're in the Eden Center.
Okay. Am I in the right place? Yes, we said the fountain. Okay. I think he's taking the subway, so he's probably just going to be 5 minutes late because the subway sucks. Okay. He's still not here. It's okay. He's going to make it. He seemed really happy to, want to meet with you. Don't worry. Don't freak out. And I started to try some deep breathing. But then I felt like my heart was racing, so I tried to take some more deep breaths, but then I started pacing.
Okay, we're in your role play.
Okay,
right
I'm
now.
pacing, I'm walking around the fountain. I'm worried that if I leave the fountain, he's gonna miss me. And then I'm running through all the ideas of why he's not here. And then I start thinking he doesn't like me. He didn't want to even meet with me. He's just said yes to be nice to me.
So I'm going to pause you.
Okay.
And this is where I want you to go back in with the idea from the group around taking a walk.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, unpause.
Okay, I'm freaking out. I'm thinking negative thoughts. Maybe I need to just stop. Maybe I just need to go outside for a second. Okay, there's a door right there. I'm just gonna go step outside for a second.
Do you want to try? Just try, just so you're getting that feel.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go outside for a second. And I can feel I can feel the sun on my face, and I feel like there's fresh air, which is better. But I'm still angry, and I'm still thinking I'm thinking still negative thoughts, so I just need to keep breathing. And now I want to go inside and see if he's there. Do I do that?
Pause. What do you think, group?
Does that make you feel better?
I don't know, because part of me is a little distracted right now that I feel like it's nice to be outside. I feel like I can actually breathe a little bit better, but now I'm thinking he might be inside now. Don't, like, miss him.
If do you have your phone on you?
I do, but he hasn't called me, and every time I try and call him, it doesn't, it shuts off. Like, it doesn't even go, it doesn't ring, it just goes straight to messages.
I feel like you've already, it's been an hour. Like, your time everybody's time is precious to them, right? So, you gave them an hour, and now you take your time back and do your stuff. Do something for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Ultimately, I was just like, I can't wait here anymore. I just had to go home. So that's what I did. But then I called him, and he finally answered, and I...
Okay, but we're redoing a different way.
Okay, so now I'm outside, and I'm taking some fresh air, and I actually feel better. And you know what? If he didn't show up, that's okay. And I'm not going to waste my time waiting for him because my time is important to me. So I'm just going to walk home right now.
Yeah.
So I'm walking home.
All right, and cut. Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right. What do people think?
I like that.
Yeah.
Because when she was telling me the story, my stomach was getting all upset. And then when she felt bad, when you felt bad, Charlie, I was like, no, 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 no. And I was so glad when you got up and walked out, and I could feel myself starting to feel better.
I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like you respected yourself and your time there. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna decide this for myself. It takes a lot of courage. I don't know if I would have walked out. It just takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, I know that was just, I know we were role playing, but I did feel better when I decided to go home. I did. I felt powerful.
I felt like I even felt just having you stand up was sort of I felt better too because you just stood up. It was enough kind of feeling.
Well, I noticed as soon as you did that, you started breathing. Yeah, and you did. You took, I don't know if you realized, but you took 2 really nice, full, deep breaths as you did that, probably without even thinking, but changing the situation, changing the environment you were in, walking physically, changing your posture, it created that opportunity to take a big breath. And then, because you had already said that the breathing wasn't working when you were inside,
Yeah.
and you did it automatically when you went outside, when you shifted that environment.
Okay, so I think we'll come back to what everybody's home practice will be at the end. So I'll be curious to see what you think, given this role play, how you might integrate that moving forward. But I do want to see if anyone else wants to role play their situation.
Just wanted to say I know it was just a role play, but I was really nervous about having to talk to you while you were still angry. But then when you calmed down, I felt really good about you being positive for yourself.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing that. It was good.
Yeah.
I don't mind role playing, but if nobody else wants to role play, I don't mind role playing.
All right, well, you shared with us that you were able to see how that first step was really helpful for you, but you weren't okay with the outcomes. So that might be, I think, and I'll put that to the group, given sort of what people shared in the check-in, this sound like a good thing to role play? You're good with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's break it down. Give us the situation before it started.
So I've been working at this restaurant for a couple of months, and at first I started, just being a sous chef, and because I've had experience before that. And I told them, hey, listen, the reason that I want to be in this restaurant is because of their pastries and stuff. So I had a lot of compliments from, the chefs themselves. Hey, you're really good at this. You should make, a career out of this. And I've wanted this for a long time. It was not just these 3 months. It's been for a long time. And so I was at home. This is like, this is not good, but like I hit a bowl. Like that's what, pot smokers call it if you guys don't. Anyways, and I sat down, I pulled out a piece of paper. Before I even wrote anything, I just said, okay, let me write down, hey mom and dad, I just got this great financial position at this restaurant because I've been asking them for financial support, and I'm 26. I thought that's gonna make them happy. So I sat down and I wrote that, and I said, I know that you have been supporting me for a long time, and I'm really appreciative of that. I just want to tell you about this opportunity that I have, and if you guys can support me with, maybe going to, a pastry school or a cooking school where I can really work on this craft. So after that, I wrote it all down, and I in fact called them after I wrote the paper because I did not believe I could even write the paper down. I didn't know what I'm gonna say. And I called them and I said, hey, it's been a couple of weeks, do you want to have dinner? And they said, sure, yeah, let's have dinner at our place. And so I went to their place, and so before going to the bus, I took my deep breaths and everything. I was holding my piece of paper, and because I have an upset stomach, I was just I took an antacid just to calm things down. I was walking to the place, and then open the door. We have a nice, we start dinner, really nicely, and then from then on, when I shared them the thing, they were like you're crazy, like this is not what our family's about. Anyway, so yeah, that's what happened. And then at the end, I just sat there and I just went into the restroom. I didn't know what to do. I could have walked out. I live by myself. I could have walked out. I just was afraid of hurting them. But I was really hurt. Yeah.
Again, bringing in what was shared, that's a normal feeling based on what you shared. And so when you say you were afraid of hurting them, how did that impact you? What was that?
Oh my gosh. Well, my upset stomach got really worse, and I kind of threw up. And then, I've been struggling with drug abuse for a long time. It's not a thing that I'm really proud of or anything. I'm reducing and stuff like that, but after that, I just I said, hey, listen, I'm going to leave, and I went to the front of the house and I smoked a joint, which they saw, and then it got even worse. Yeah. So yeah, I don't even know how to even talk the situation even into a role play. I just don't know how to.
Okay, well that's what we can do together here as a group. So the first steps you were comfortable with. You were happy, you were proud of the way you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start role playing that just again so that you have that feeling.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You guys good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go back into role. You were at home?
Okay.
Okay, you're at home and what? Just go through it.
Okay. Mel, you've been receiving quite a bit of compliments. You're improving your financial situation. You're doing better for yourself, and you're also reducing your, drug usage and everything. I think you're strong enough to talk to your parents. I think you can do it. I think you can do it. So I was just almost just self-talking that. And so I sat down and I was like, dear mom and dad, I know I started off with just a letter. And after, I was like, thank you so much for supporting me, and thank you so much for being there for me. And I really want this support from you, and I really cherish our relationship because you do help me. And I want to tell you that the restaurant said that I'm a really good pastry chef, that I should, be working on this craft, and that I, was thinking of a couple of cooking schools, and maybe if you could help me out, that we could talk this through, and I could, get myself out of this financial rut, and I could, just, live by myself and have a great, life, yeah. So that's what the beginning was, yeah.
Okay, so feedback from him. What did we see in what he did that are some of the things he's been working on that we've been talking about?
Took a breath.
He took a breath, right? So we saw you do that, and it looked to me like you relaxed in doing that. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was really great. What are some of the, maybe we didn't see, but we heard?
He was at the beginning affirming himself, just mentally preparing.
The positive self-talk. Again, going back to sort of that progress over the weeks we've been together, that's a really big step. You were able to articulate a lot of positives that I got the sense, I don't know what you thought, I got the sense you were feeling them. Is that true?
Well, yeah. It just makes me feel good, and I want to feel good.
Okay, and we saw that, right? Mm-hmm. Other thoughts from him?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, so the pieces that made you feel good were those positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote down in the letter, you started with, what did you start with?
Dear Mom and Dad.
All right, so you were expressing some...
That's how I started letters when I was a kid. That's why it just kind of, just a memory that just kind of triggered that happiness too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Other pieces of the letter.
I really noticed when you said that you cherish your mom and dad. And I thought that's a really specific feeling. And one I hope everyone gets to feel.
I didn't share it with them though. I kept it to myself.
Okay, so you know what? We are going to replay this right now. So you've written out the letter, right? You've used some really positive self-statements. You've written it, you've shared some of the positive feelings. You've brought back a memory from childhood. So you're feeling pretty good about things. All right, now let's go back in. Before we go back in though, you're going back in to your house. You've identified one thing you wish you had done differently. You wish you had shared that with them. That's what you just told us. Right?
I wish I shared that.
Okay. Now looking at the situation, are there other things you think that could be helpful?
I could have just stayed in the restroom for a little longer. I mean, I was just so angry. I just didn't give myself enough time. Like what I was telling you, I just did not accept that I was angry. So I just wanted to get out of the house. But then my impulse there was to smoke marijuana, which is something that I want to stop, and something that does not make my parents feel proud. So I just wish I just stayed in a little longer, maybe did a bit more breathing, just really, I didn't do any self-talk in the bathroom. I just realized that. I didn't do anything it's okay, I wish I did that. I feel. I just wish I didn't leave the house and smoke pot. That's what I wish I did.
Okay, so is there going to be value in this for you if we role play walking into the house and talking about some of the feelings, or do you want to go to the bathroom?
Maybe let's go to the beginning a little bit just to share.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I mean,
okay, is there somebody who feels comfortable playing the role of your parent, or you feel comfortable playing the role of your parent?
I feel comfortable doing that if you need someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take back some of the strategies that you identify. So you wanted to do some more.
So I want to share with them how I cherish this relationship with them. I want to share how grateful I am for the financial support, because I don't really share that a lot, even though they do a lot for me. And I just want to say that I love them. Yeah.
Okay. Anything you need to do ahead of time to prep yourself?
I'm just gonna breathe. Yeah, I'm just gonna breathe. It's alright. It's alright. Mom. Hey, Dad. You know, I really love you guys. I know that, like, we might be, you know, going through arguments and whatever, fights, but I really am grateful for what you guys have provided me with and the financial support. And I just really want to say that I really cherish this relationship, and I really cherish what we have. Yeah.
Okay, let's cut. Because at this point, we can't really control what your parents are going to respond to, right? But let's give him some feedback around what he said he wanted to do and how he did it.
Well, you did even though you said you're just going to breathe, I also heard you self-talking a little bit, like it's okay, right before. And that seemed to like pump you up a bit, give you a little boost before you spoke. So I could see that like really helping you, along with the breathing.
How did it feel to be able to say that?
It actually feels kind of relieving. Because, you know, I actually did it. You know, like what I wrote, I actually did in the end. Yeah.
You look relieved.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's some of the reason we're doing the role play is to be able to process how you would do differently, but then to actually feel doing it differently, right? And something to take away. But I want to forget sort of what happened in response to a different way of approaching the situation, but let's pick up from the bathroom, because that's where you said you wish you had done things differently.
Yeah. Maybe after the throwing up, like I'm not gonna...
Yep. No, that works for us. Okay. All right. So in this situation, it hasn't gone the way you wanted.
Yeah.
Right? What are some things from the group? Any thoughts that might be helpful to know?
Sorry.
Okay.
He's been doing a really good job so far in everything, so just stay on that path. And
There's one thing that I'm noticing, even a consistency between both of the role plays that we've done today, is that you guys did an amazing job preparing for the thing you wanted to do. Ask somebody out, talk to your parents, and the part that became hard is we can't necessarily always control how somebody's going to respond, even when we've done something really well. And so, you know, maybe for all of us, it's also, you did a lot, both of you guys, everybody talked about all the ways they prepared for the piece they wanted to do. And then maybe the next steps too are preparing for what could happen if it doesn't go the way we hope it goes, and how we are going to manage. Because I really like what everybody's talked about around the feelings that came up for you were normal and appropriate. And what I'm hearing from both of you is that you struggled to accept those feelings, and then you weren't as happy about how you reacted to those feelings. And so I'm wondering about, you're able to talk to other people about accepting those feelings as being appropriate, but that's where it's been hard for you. And so that's just the one piece I'm noticing. I don't know what people are thinking about that.
Yeah, you're right. I have a hard time telling what I told Shirley. Yeah. I wish I could just accept that this is how I feel and just find another route on how to deal with that. Rather than just get more angrier at me for being angry. But, you know, like now that just kind of looks pointless. I mean, you know, like I'm just getting angry because I'm angry. And then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And then also because you can acknowledge to Charlie that angry is okay. Like that should have been okay. And then the other piece I noticed is that when that happened, when your emotions seem to outstrip the strategies that you've been practicing, the ones that you're proud of, and you revert back to the ones, adding in some ones that you're less proud of, anger, drug use, those pieces that and then you got angry at yourself for being angry, but also for using some strategies that you'd like not to be doing. So, what I'm interested in hearing a bit more, I guess, about what you could do to shift that a little bit.
Well, that's really part of it is that, and maybe it's just, I don't know, counting to 10 or something, but I feel like if it didn't go the way that I either thought it would or that I worked towards, like, for me it was, because it's just a job, it was a little bit easier. But for me, it's like, well, it didn't go that way, so, right, I'm a loser, right? So for me, it's hard to stop that next step, like exactly what we're talking about now, right? Because I just feel like I go right into, even when I work really hard, I'm still a loser. I'm still like, it still doesn't work. Even when I do this stuff, why is this happening to me? Why is it like, I'm putting in the effort and it's still not working, and then I just go from there. And I don't know how to stop. I don't know. I don't know if it's just learning to accept. Like, I don't know how to do that. It feels like it's maybe just a little step, but it feels huge.
You told Charlie really quick that she wasn't a loser. I think the same thing maybe would help you, because it's true. It's the same, right? Yeah.
So when you hear somebody else say that, does that do it for you? Is that what you need to challenge it?
We'll see, but now this is where I get, like, I feel, thank you. But I don't do it for myself. Like, maybe that's what all of us are doing, that we don't do it for ourselves, but we can do it for somebody else, and I don't understand that.
Okay, so let's see. Is that a commonality?
Yeah.
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 Right? Everybody can jump in when you hear somebody else's thoughts that you don't feel are true, and provide some information and support.
See, like, I'm already, like, my heart's racing right now, and it's just even talking about that, right? Like, but I'm okay when you guys are, when you guys are talking about your stuff, and I feel like I'm proud of you and all of that, but right now I'm terrified and I feel like I'm gonna cry.
So some of the things that you have said to others, can you try saying them to yourself?
I'm proud of myself for coming here. I'm proud of myself that I keep coming back. I'm breathing. I'm breathing. And that's good.
We're all breathing.
I'm really proud that I can be here with you guys, and that we can help each other, and maybe I help you, and I can help me too.
All right, so Sam, you say that you have a hard time challenging yourself, like it's an easy thing to do. And we've already heard from everyone, and we know it's really, really hard. So being able to come up with something that you know to be true or believable is your starting point. So being able to identify that you're proud that you've come here, right? To me, I mean, it doesn't matter what I think, but it seems believable. And that's where it starts, right? Is there anything else? Because everybody was nodding, right? Everybody else is knowing that they can share this information and they can see the positives and they can challenge other people's thoughts that are really difficult. What are some ways you've successfully challenged your own? So the building, right? So being able to identify what's really you feel you can believe in and what you feel is true is the starting point. Has anybody else been able to identify a way that they've been able to challenge those thoughts that are really unhelpful for them?
For me, it was just, you know, I guess not ignoring them, but standing up to them, and you know, thinking, you know, I can do it, that I can push past it, and I think that that's going to be really important if I keep trying to talk to more of my buddies from high school. Or there was one guy who was a bit of a bully to me, but I always thought he was cool, and I sent him a friend request, and I guess I just need to be if I feel like I got really lucky that Jeff responded so positively, and we went and we had a good time, but I think maybe I should keep everything in mind for if maybe it doesn't go the best way this next time.
I think Sam really just inspired something. Like when she was saying all the stuff that she was thinking and everything, I feel like now, whenever a situation does not go well, I just want to have a list of things that I can read that I'm thankful for. So when you said that, you're thankful for coming here, I'm really thankful for coming here. I feel like I've solved so many things coming here, and still I'm solving and learning. Yeah. So yeah. For me, it's helpful.
Thanks for sharing.
Nat, I noticed that you're a little quieter today. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Or are you feeling okay right now?
Well, I'm just taking everything in and I feel like I want to clap. Sometimes with what you said, and when when I was saying about writing things down, I thought, well, maybe I should write it down, because right now I feel like almost like I'm looking in, not really in, and then I kind of thought of I was thinking of my fish, right? My fish bowl, and maybe I should write things down and just put it, get a bowl for myself and put it in and take things out, what's good, and I don't know. I was just thinking.
I have that.
a great
I
idea.
have a box of words and things that I could think that are the opposite of what I normally think. That makes sense? I'm feeling really down, and an opportunity arises, or what, this thing with my husband, going for dinner, that I have this little, he doesn't know I have it, but I have this little box, and I open it up, and it's got say yes, or a smile, or just things that are choices I could make.
Yeah.
They're options.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling that.
And so yours is a list of options, alternate options, choices that you can make. Mm-hmm. Other people have talked about having lists of strategies that they can use that are, so they know they have a full repertoire in their toolbox of things that they can do. Yeah.
Are there any other strategies that people have either used and found successful or heard throughout the group that they want to use? So let's start successful strategies that have been helpful.
The breathing seems to really help.
Mm-hmm.
But I have trouble remembering to do that. I don't. even if I was like telling myself to breathe, like I'm still, tense. That's a hard one for me.
And Charlie, I noticed that you found that when you were trying to do that, reminding yourself to do that, but then when your emotions got to a certain point, that sort of fell by the wayside, and then you were overwhelmed by how you were feeling. Mm-hmm. But I noticed when you shifted, I mean, we talked about that a little bit, that sometimes shifting your posture or your position or your environment, taking a break, walking away, something that you guys have all sort of has resonated with many of you as a reminder, maybe of the strategy. Take a moment and remember strategies. Are there other people who have ideas of how they've been able to remember which ones have worked for them and to put them in even when things get overwhelming?
I mean, I've tried the self-affirmations before, but something that I just thought of sitting here when I was listening to the role plays, I've never done it out loud before. I think I might try that.
It really helps.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't want to forget about the fact we've got one last piece of your role play. So hopefully this has been helpful in hearing some things that have already. Are you okay finishing it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now I have so much to work with. Yeah.
All right. So why don't you walk us through what you're going to do, and then we'll get you to practice it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually want to write, before I go into my house, to write a list of things I appreciate, so that whatever the outcome, I can pull that list out. And even at the bottom of the list, I want to write our deep breathing exercise that we always do, because I forget a lot of the time. So I tell, inhale how many counts, exhale how many counts, and all that. And what else? Speaking them out. I'm going to speak them out. I don't care if my parents hear me. I'm going to speak them out. Yeah, so I think that's what I think I'm going to do. And I'm not going to walk out. I'm going to stay in the restroom and calm myself down and be okay with it. And I will exit the restroom peaceful. That's my intention. Yeah. Okay?
Okay. We'll go into the role play now.
Just gonna pretend it's a piece of paper. I'm grateful for my family. Grateful for their support, their financial support. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I have people in my workplace that appreciate me. I'm grateful that I can make really good dessert. And I'm a really good chef. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that I have food to eat. And I have, water to drink. I'm stronger than this. I'm strong. It's okay to feel what I'm feeling. It's okay to feel what I'm feeling. It's okay to feel what I'm feeling. I support myself. I know what I'm good at. Yeah, that feels much better. I can... Do I get out of the way?
Sure. Yep, do it.
do anything.
All right, so tell us how that felt for you.
It felt so relieving.
Better than throwing up.
Better than throwing up. Just now I realize like I was throwing up because I was just so negative, and I just didn't have anything to keep me even positive, nothing to look at. Yeah, that felt so good. Yeah.
All right, some feedback from them.
I was saying it with you. I'm okay to feel like
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Well done.
I just really noticed, I don't know for other people, but I'd like to know, but when you started saying it's okay to feel how I feel, you said that 3 times, and I saw the tension in your body just really go down with every time you repeated that. That was, you could see it. Yeah.
And you look like you got light, like not just like light, heavy light, but you actually got like light. You started to smile and
Yeah. I noticed that as well.
Yeah. That really helped me. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so I have just realized the time. So we have a few other things to do, but I want to take a moment to recognize how everybody has come here today, how people have shared their experiences across the past week, how everybody took that first step, the support you have all given each other with respect to the situations that were troubling, some of your thinking that might cause you problems, and how you've all been able to support each other on that. So I think it's been, from that perspective, from my perspective, a good group. So is there anything before we move into looking at what your home practice piece is for next week?
Well, I would just like to hear from everybody what they think, what would they add to what Karen just talked about? What was your impressions of the group today?
Is that our challenges are real. Like, they're really hard. And I don't know what other people go through, but like just the day-to-day is really hard.
I think also that we go through a lot of the same stuff, maybe without realizing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it makes a difference when you feel the support, whether it be from yourself saying it to yourself or from other people saying it, like here.
Yeah, I feel like I might have to bring you guys with me because it'll be easier for me to talk, even in my head, for me to be talking to you guys than me. So I'm gonna bring you with me this week.
How are you going to do that?
I don't know. It'll be in my head.
Yeah, this is what I'm.
But I'm thinking. Honestly, I'm thinking like when I'm starting to just like when my heart starts to race, I'm going to try and picture this, right? And just because we did all nod. We are going through stuff. It is real. We're all doing it. So I'm going to try and remember that maybe I'm not alone at that moment.
And the voices that you've heard today that are hard for you to tell yourself, where your group members here have been able to do that.
Okay, maybe what we'll do is in pairs to identify the social situation that you are going to work on this week. What is the home practice? How are you going to do that? So maybe in pairs, identify, we'll come back together and share that.
So having
Okay, so maybe now we can go around and everybody can share what their home practice is going to be this week.
Well, I'm gonna ask the same person out to a different place, and I'm gonna do that bowl thing with stuff ahead of time, and just try and get all the bad what ifs out.
I'm gonna continue what I started last week and message some more friends from high school, and I'm gonna say my affirmations out loud and fight the negatives and just send messages.
I'm going to try and remember how I would talk to you guys before I start talking negatively to myself.
I'm going to show up at my church group event. I'm going to show up there.
I'm actually going to go out with my friends this weekend so I can de-stress from what I've experienced with my parents. And also, we talked about how next time I go to their place, I'm going to have that list, and I won't smoke pot. I won't even talk about my career. I just want to have a good dinner with them. Yeah. So I can have that programmed in my brain. I have that memory.
I'm gonna try to put something on my schedule next week. I'm gonna try and have coffee with my sister-in-law.
Okay, so going back to the beginning of this group, everyone did a really good job at planning what they needed to do to make last week's home practice. Are people feeling comfortable that you have those plans in place going into this week? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so just to finish off the group, I'll walk us through 3 deep breaths. Okay, so we'll go in for 4, hold, out for 4. All right, everybody comfortable? All right, so in through your nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, out through your mouth, 4, 3, 2, 1. In through your nose, hold, and out through your mouth. In through your nose, hold, and exhale through your mouth. All right, I heard some great. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Great, thank you.